Okay. So Jai Shri Krishna. And happy Guru Purnima again. Very monumental day. It's just, I feel like not enough can be said about the presence of Guru in our lives, the need for it also. So maybe we'll take a first few minutes just for that, to acknowledge the day today and the more today, and then we'll launch into it. And frankly, no one needs to say anything. We all recognize the place for a guru, right? The need for a guru and the benefit of a guru, and guru in different forms, obviously. Be teacher, whether in the relative realm or the absolute realm, in the spiritual realm. I am just forcing myself to say something about it so that the thoughts come to the forefront and not another one goes by, just to create some space for it. We were just talking about the dance accomplishment, for example, right? There's no way that YouTube could just make you who you are, for example, without the presence of that, or anything that we know practically until now, without having someone who has walked before us, without having someone who is, as I was saying during Dhyan, been there, done that, and then have come back. And so much so that even, like I said, in the Gita, in the 4th chapter, several places in the Gita itself, Krishna refers to Guru. The one example that I gave during meditation comes in the 4th chapter, 34th verse, where it says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya vidhi purvak, go with full adequate, behave yourself. Tad vidhi is don't just, like I was saying, don't just question them, but ask them questions. And there's a big difference between questioning a person and asking that person a question, right? And so all of that sort of comes in that tad vidhi purvak, following the manners and the etiquette, pranipatena, and humility, pariprashnena sevaya. You may ask them questions. So the pari word, as I often say, is a beautiful add-on to any other word that's added. It just suggests caution. Pariprashnena is as if you are asking them a question, or that, share your curiosity. Prashna would be ask a question. Pariprashnena would be share your curiosity. What are you confused about? What are you curious about? Let them know. Open yourself up. Pariprashnena sevaya. Again, with the willingness to align yourself, sevaya, around their system, their circumstance, whatever their rules are, all of that, aligning and not just insisting on your own rules. If they're sitting on the floor, then if you are able to, then you sit on the floor. Or if they are sitting without a fan on, maybe tolerate that. Or if they want to sit outside, go sit outside with them. For momentarily trying to get over the body consciousness, because that's part of the challenge that happens, right? If we're so conscious of the body that immediately we start experiencing the heat and the cold and the comfort and the discomfort, and yet we've gone there to get beyond the body consciousness. And so with the discipline pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam, often I point out in that word upadekshanti word, which the ksha combines peace, shanti, with upadesh. It's not just, upadesh is advice. It's not just advice. Do this, do that, you should do that, why don't you do this? But a healing, soothing one. Something that actually helps, something that's palatable. That's the thing, right? There is no shortage of advice available. There's too much advice. Like I was saying in the TED Talk, that is drinking from a fire hose. So, Shalini, if I'm thirsty, I really need a glass of water. And I come to you and say, hey, can I get a glass? I'm really thirsty. You say, well, why one glass? Here, I'll give you a flood. And you just open the flood. Take as much as you want, Jita. Why drink it? It just blows me out. And maybe 3 drops enter my throat. And I'm asking for a glass of water, and you're giving me a flood. That doesn't help. So that could be upadesh, just advice. But upadekshanti, peaceful, palatable, digestible, in bite sizes, te jnanam. Because they do have the sun with them. They can flood the light, really blind with the light they can throw. But they recognize that, the real gurus recognize that only this much is, and there's time that you can walk through it. So they will deliver in appropriate doses, whether light or water, or the jnanam, jnaninas tattva darshana, because they have seen in principle, in truth, darshan, and they recognize, because they have also walked on that path. They have not forgotten that this is how it was with me. So, and then again, a few other places where Krishna and Arjun, the topic of Guru comes up in the Gita. In fact, in the second chapter itself, right in the beginning, I think maybe like the 7th verse or something around that, where Arjun humbles himself and says, I'm your disciple. First time ever in their relationship, in a long, deep, intimate relationship. First time he puts Krishna in the place of a guru by humbling himself and says, I'm your disciple. And the word is shishya, disciple, not a follower. The other nuance to keep in mind is that a guru is not a leader, and therefore those who follow, those who seek a guru are not the followers; they are the disciples. And there's a big difference in the nuance in the words. Leaders and followers, and a guru and disciple. Leaders, for instance, are, for the most part, I mean almost, if not exclusively, of the relative of the world, a world leader, a leader of the things of the world, like a political leader, religious leader. Religion is not absolute, right? Religion is not spirituality. Religion will not lead you to the experience of God. Religion will never reveal your true self, your Atma. I mean, it will take you to that gate, absolutely, followed properly. It will take you to the place where you can open up, but that ain't it, because it's still in the realm of the 3 gunas. The religion will convert us from palmer, which is like absolutely animalistic tendencies and thoughts, to then like sattvic, ultimately take us to sattvic. But the effort here is to go beyond, transcend sattvic and go beyond. So there could be a religious leader like the mahants in the temples, like the char mathadhikari, all of that. Even if that, and otherwise there's the political leader, business leaders, education leaders. Those who follow are the followers. Like they're attracted and they want to learn. Guru has no connection, or at least has severed, is in but not of the world, right? In the world but not of the world. It is of the spiritual world. The matter, the topic is of the spirit. And across the board it's consistent. Leaders can change, leaders' philosophies can change, leader can change parties, leader can change their businesses, leader can change the investment portfolios, leaders can change so many things. Maybe their country, their nationality, their character can change, or what wasn't evident before can come. Gurus never change. That's how diametrically opposite leaders and gurus. Because again, leaders are in the relative. There is always the comparative, the good and the bad, the right and the wrong. And the more right feels like the leader, the more good feels like the leader, the more strong, the more rich, the more successful feels like the leader. And those who want to be like her or him are the followers. More is relative. No matter how much more, there is still a little more. I don't know if you came across this story on WhatsApp. This is the Amitabh Bachchan put this out, saying that at the peak of my career, like obviously the superstar, at the peak of my career, I was flying, I think first class, whatever, in an airplane, and obviously somehow worked his way through to his seat because it's just fans going crazy, right? Like someone wants signature, someone wants whatever. And it finally lands there, and then in a few minutes, another guy, gentleman, older than him. Have you heard that? Comes in. Have you guys heard it? No. Okay. Comes and sits next to him, and so he's curious because this guy doesn't care for Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah. And so he's sort of almost thinking like, I wonder who this person is. And then the flight attendant comes in. The guy says like, I'll just take a cup of tea. This other guy, whatever he took, I don't know. He didn't put it there. He drinks his cup of tea. He opens like the newspaper, reads through, and then there's just I think Amitabh asked him something about hi, how do you do or something. And he said, yeah, how are you? And the small talk led to, again, Bachchan asking, like, so what do you do? And he says, I'm a businessman. And he says, okay, what do you do? He says, I'm an actor. Oh, okay, good for you, he said. Something like that. He has no clue. And something to the effect of, do you work, like, do you do TV or whatever? And he said, no, I'm like a Bollywood actor. He said, okay, good, I don't watch movies, he said. And then he started sipping his tea and like back into his newspaper. Towards the end, he later found out that he was Jamshed Tata, the first person sitting next to him, the Tata conglomerate head, the biggest, like the king of kings in India. And that's when he said that, God, I recognize that no matter how big I am, that I may not know, but there's someone bigger than me out there. So this is an example of the relative world where Amitabh Bachchan has, I'm sure, millions of followers, but there's still someone bigger. Guru is neither Bachchan nor Tata, for example, right? Because it's at the permanent state. It's at the absolute state. There's nothing comparable or comparative or comparison in there. Because again, it's the matter of the principle. It's a matter of the truth. It's a matter of the relative, of the spirit. And therefore, not to confuse the relationship of guru, shishya for leader-follower. And so we're not followers of whoever we consider guru, we're disciples. And the point there is that guru will never change. The principles will never change. Behaviorally, any which way, the guru must be able to demonstrate, and does. She will always, or he will always demonstrate the exact same, like the steadfast commitment to truth, because they become one with it. They are the truth embodiment. Hence, they are worshipped as that, as if they are God. Right? They're not gods, but they're considered as if they're God because they become one with it. And how do I know? Because their behavior never changes. Any time, anyhow, anywhere, any which way, it feels like they are literally living what they. So the gospel is as if walking and talking in front of it. And the disciple also doesn't change. Hence, not a follower. Because not only leaders change, followers also change. In every which way. They might dump that leader, they might change the party, they might whatever. So leaders change, followers change, guru never changes, and disciples never change. So just to clarify then, we are on this path of today we're worshipping the original guru that's considered Vyasa-Muni, who was the literary incarnation of Krishna, who gifted us with the Gita that we talk, for example. But there is a way to work. Whoever we see in our life, we don't have to be physically present with the guru, because guru's presence is pervasive. Because their thoughts, their words, your guru could be in India. And it doesn't matter, it should not matter, because again, time and space is of the relative world. So everywhere this shows up. For a teacher, for a leader, the closer I am, physical proximity matters. For a guru, it does not, right? Because it's a teaching, it's a lesson. So keep all of that in mind. There was one other thought that I wanted to share, which is different. When it comes to me, I'll bring it up. With that, then I think we will pay. Oh yeah, this third thought that I wanted to share about guru is that normally it is believed that you make one guru and you stay with him or her, and that's it, period, right? And that's generally the accepted norm, but that's not the rule. It's a norm. There is a difference there again. And as you know how picky I am about words, that you do have to really. First there was the Word, Jesus said, and the Word became God, and that's how important the Word is. Therefore, I must pay importance to words. That is the norm, but not a rule. It's not the necessity that once you make a guru, you cannot or you do not change. In fact, God Himself, on His last day, Krishna, in the Bhagwad Gita, a chapter comes called Bhagwad Gita. One of the chapters in the Uddhav conversation. A small chapter, it's called Bhagwad Gita, like Dattatreya, you may have heard the name Datta, right? Datta Guru, with the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, when he was wandering about in the form of a monk, as if Yadu Raja, the king Yadu, came across him and that conversation is very briefly narrated by Krishna to Uddhav, in which the king Yadu inquires of him, like, how have you achieved this state that, I mean, it's something definitely special and different about you. There's a story that I'll skip, but then, so who are you and who is your guru? Who was your guru that you became so bright and resplendent, is what Yadu Raja asks. So he said, no, I'm just a wandering monk. You can call me Avdut if you'd like, which means a wandering monk. And I have many gurus, he said. And this is Krishna saying to Uddhav also, that in fact, I can tell you right now 24 gurus that I've taken. This is the Avdut telling King Yadu. And then he recites those, so like the earth, fire, like sky, water, for example, 5 this, or the 5. I'll skip that again because then I, like for example, the sun and the moon and the stars, all of them, he enumerates 24 gurus. He says even what I've learned from a prostitute, what I've learned from a bride, what I've learned from this, and then like a poor man, what I've learned from a python, what I've learned from a honey bee, what I've learned from a honey gatherer, what I've learned from a dove, and what I've learned from a hunter. These are some of the examples, and he said these have been my 24 gurus, and he gives very specific example of what, why of that. And he says anything, anywhere you come across, if you're perceptive, there is something to learn from. Sometimes it could be positive, sometimes it could be negative, as in what I don't want to do, the discernment, right? How I should not be, the mistake that someone else is making, I don't want to. At their cost, I learned, and therefore I give them a higher place. That, well, you had to suffer, but I reap the benefit of it. So, in my own example, in fact, I can absolutely honestly say that I've had many influencers. Like the top 5, if I had to rank, like in that order, I think you may all have known. Like I had started accepting Guru Diksha from Asaram Bapu. I started in like Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Surat. That's where on Janmashtami in Surat. That's when this was like 22 years ago. Then eventually I was led to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's the original founder of the ISKCON, the Hare Krishna movement, 550 years ago. So now that one is not alive. I'm 10,000 miles away and 550 years away. But in my mind, it's clear. I've learned certain things from Asaram Bapu, like he put me on the path of the inquisitive, incisive, curious Gyan Marg, sharply cutting, like, what is it? I want to know this. What is it? Like all this talk about whatever, spirituality. And then I took a turn, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's like very lucid philosophy, sometimes I refer to as, or refer to in our conversations, it's called Achintya Bheda Abhed, which is like inconceivable identity and difference. Very clearly, very logically, very rationally describe like how it is all one, even though it looks very different. In fact, that concept somewhat will come in our, if we get to today at the Gita next shlok that's coming up also. And I've read a lot of scriptures, I've heard a lot of things, but I've never come across anything as clear and as solid, robust as that. I also learned the path of love from him, which was ultimately sort of my rescue from that. Believe it or not, these are again strange examples that I'll give you from here on, just like Avdut gave. Ramanand Sagar, I consider in my, not 3, let me go in the order. So first was Asaram Bapu, second was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, third was Paramahansa Yogananda, autobiography of a yogi, if you ever read about that. He died, 50, 60 years ago in California, Los Angeles. Never met him, obviously, but absolutely in the place of a guru in my mind. And what I've learned, this sweetness of life, love of life, and he put me on the path of the Gita. That's where my serious journey of the Gita started, with his influence in it. The love of the Lord started with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in my life. This sharp intellectual curiosity started with Asaram Bapu's influence in me. So Bapuji got me started on knowledge, as we call them, like in Gujarat, right? Mahaprabhu got me started on the path of love of God. Yogananda got me started, like sweetness of life, how to show up sweetly with the air of the Gita. Balance in life is what Gita started, right? And then Ramanand Sagar I included in my top 5 because some of the shows that he's created, namely 2 of those, the first one was Ramayana, right? The immortal, as when we were growing up. And then the second was Shri Krishna. There have been many Krishnas, but Ramanand Sagar's Shri Krishna serial has really moved the needle for me. If you haven't, you must. It's incomparable. Shalini Madhi in Bal Sanskar sometimes used to show some Krishna serial. Those,
I know what you're talking about.
Those are from those.
Okay.
Yeah. Either she would always show either Ramayana or Sri Krishna, right? Those are from that. And then the 5th one, you may not even have heard of it. His name is Vinod Agrawal. He's also Raman Sagar has passed. Vinod Agrawal has passed. Yogananda has passed. But he was a bhajan samrat from Vrindavan, who stayed at our place for 3-4 days with his troupe. He performed at a few temples, and somehow, for some reason, included me as part of his troupe when he was here, so I could sit next to him on stages and like do manjira while he sang. I haven't seen a living lover of God like him, like a very sahaj, very casual, like deeply steeped in Krishna Prem. And it rubbed off when he stayed with us 3-4 days. It absolutely rubbed off. When it's real, it rubs off. Anything that's real, that always rubs off. It leaves behind. When you pour ghee in a box, and if you empty that, the whole thing, still there is some ghee that's left. It's never completely ghee-free. Would you agree? Like butter? It's like that it leaves behind. And you can even smell the aroma, for example. So those are 5, and there have been many other influences, but I can like instantly recall who I am today, what I am, is absolutely, I cannot cite any one saying all because of this person, only because of this person. There is like very specific, very concrete, very direct elements that show up in how I think, how I speak, and how I behave. In other words, how I am, right? So while the norm is that, oh, well, you're stuck with one guru that you made, I don't understand, I maybe made a mistake, I should have been more careful, but I don't want to do pop, I don't want to commit sin because they say you'll go to hell. It's nothing like that. Krishna himself, in fact, in the Gita also, in the 6th chapter, also in the Bhagavad Puran, at numerous places, it's like, actually the real guru is you. Repeatedly says that, strongly, emphatically says that ultimately all the gurus of the world can hang upside down and cannot move the needle for you if you are not ready to accept, to claim your position as your guru. Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadaya atmaiva yatmano bandhur atmaiva rupuratma. This is in the 6th chapter. Many places he says that, again in the Bhagwat and the Gita as well. So give yourself, create some space for yourself on this Guru Purnima. When you look in the mirror, I'd encourage you to look straight in your eyes. I've said this before also. Stand in front of a mirror, do not sit. A bathroom mirror serves just fine. But stand in front of a mirror. Give yourself 10 minutes, no more than that, maybe 5. And just stare in your eyes and you'll see your Guru. Stare in the eyes, that should not the eyebrows, never mind, like you got to do threading or whatever, eyelashes, or you're like graying mustache or whatever. It's all right. Just stare straight into the eyes and you'll start to hear the voice. And it'll start with compassion. The voice will be the voice of compassion. The voice will create space for you, hold space for you. The voice will start to lift you up. The voice will have known your journey. Everything that you've gone through that nobody knows, not your mother, not your husband, not your wife, not your brother. Nobody knows. Only you know. Some of those, that voice will know and will bring out and will really give you a hug and touch you. And really just, so that is, be with that, listen to that. Take that voice with you in your meditation. Anytime you're running shallow, you're confused, Go close the door of the bathroom, turn on the light, look in the, and you'll hear that again. It's simple as that. That guru principle, that gurutva, that bigness, that Brahma is in you. So much so that ultimately we learn through the path of the Gita or any other Sanatan scripture, not in you, you are that, right? Tattvamasi, essentially, that you are that principle. So this isn't about becoming a slave to the master. Again, a wrong sort of notion calling it the master, because then I'm a slave. A real master does not need, does not expect, does not make slaves. Because the master is the master of all. If it's the ultimate master, why does the master need anything? There is a very beautiful doha that Kabir ji had. Guru ko aisa chahiye, shishya ka kachhu na le. Shishya ko aisa chahiye, guru ko sab kuch de. Like the real guru shishya is like the guru is that one who never takes anything from the shishya. And the real shishya is the one who always gives everything to the guru. So now which one, like how do you work this out? This one will take nothing and this one will leave nothing from giving. And that's the relationship. A real guru, every real guru of all times always wants the disciple to have at least what she or he has, and perhaps more. I mean, there is nothing more. But so the guru never wants to remain a guru. Guru doesn't even think of herself or himself as a guru. That idea has vanished because they have become Brahmaleen. The next stage is Brahmi Chetana. That there is no difference, that we're one and that there is only one, and I am that and you are that. Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. That bhavana. And so that there is no distinction of big or small, less or more, because then we've gotten into the leader and the follower, the relative. There's no relativity, there's absolute, because there is only one. Anytime there's more than one, it's relative. There is comparison, which one is the prettier, which one is the stronger, which one is the richer, all of that. So ultimately then, all that means is a guru has become love. A guru is the one who's purest love you can imagine, purest form of love you can imagine. And in love there is no expectation, it's only one way. So the purer the love, the lesser the expectation. So we can examine ourselves. Say, I love you, Mom. Well, if there are expectations, then I need to work on the love I have for my mom. Or vice versa. When we say to anyone that I love you, the more expectations there are, the contaminants are there. It's approaching love. It's kind of sort of love, but it ain't love yet. There's only one grade of love, and it's the pure grade in which there are no contaminants, and that's Gurutva. So hence, for all of that, so these are some unconventional aspects of Guru or Guru Purnima that I shared with you. Typically, you would hear the shlokas recited, what's been said about gurus there, what gu means and what ru means, all of those, which is good. They have a place, but we've learned that repetition doesn't help. It just so we've got to think differently also. The last thing I'll leave you on this topic, and we'll get back to the Gita, is Shivji. We have incarnations of Vishnu at all times. Not all times, but there's millennia after millennia. There's that. The next one would be Kalki. So one time there was a conversation. Parvati asked, how come only Vishnu takes avatar? She's like, oh, you never take avatar. You go, you do your meditation. I'm you're Mahadev, you're Devanke Dev, you're like the God of gods. And have you divided? Is there some sort of a arrangement between the two of you? What is it? And as he smiles, classic, obviously, the most beautiful Shivam Sundaram smile. Shivji says, actually, the secret is, I'm never without an avatar. Vishnu takes avatar maybe, 5,000 years, every 5,000 years, every 10,000 years. One time, gets the job done, smacks a bunch of people, finishes the job, and takes off. And there has not been a time, Parvati, since the world was created when I have not appeared as an avatar. It's obviously perplexed, how come? What case? What do you mean? He says, anywhere there is a guru, that's me. He says, a guru is my form on planet, and there is always a guru. Swami Vivekananda had said that so long as there is one guru, one man, one person rather, he called it guru, I refuse to give hope for the world. One is enough, if the one is the real one. And that real one is Shivji. And so he says, Shankar says in his Shiva Gita, which a small portion of that became Guru Gita, as we hear about Guru Gita. Three chapters from the Shiva Gita are called Guru Gita. In the second chapter of that Guru Gita, in the third verse, he says, if you really want to follow a guru, if you call yourself a shishya, then you have to follow their advice, like their teachings. It's not possible to follow a guru because then you'll be stuck with the physical form, the body. My guru has died, therefore I'm without a guru. Not like that. Or my guru is in India, therefore here for 6 months I'm guru-less. You can't run like a chicken without head. So your guru is in their teachings. Guru upadishta margena, that shlok is mana shuddham tikariyat. The Guru ne jo bataya marg hai, the path that they have shown through the advice that they have given, purify your mind, like minimize the contaminant. Mana shuddhim tikariyat, anityam khandayat sarvam, yat kinchid atmagocharam. And what is that advice and how do you do that? It said, like, he also answered that, like, whatever is anitya, whatever is temporary, whatever is here today, gone tomorrow, whatever will not stay forever like that, whatever is not permanent, that's anityam khandayat sarvam. Disregard it, not hate it, not throw it, not run from it, don't attach to it. Just look at it and, all right, move past it. Just don't dwell on it. Disregard it. No? So khandayat yat kinchid, and in its place every moment, atma gocharam.
I can't hear anything outside.
Yeah. So maybe we'll stop here. But dip into your real self. So with that, let me pause this conversation, and as we do, first take a break for your reactions, and then we'll continue with the Gita as well. So happy Guru Purnima again. So feel free to share your reactions also on this topic. So as far as the Gita, well, great conversation. Thank you for sharing the reactions as well. And I'll say for myself also, as we said, you learn by teaching. As I always say, when doing Gita Yoga, one person has never missed a single Gita. He has always been there. That's been me. And the person who hears what comes out of that, like my ears are the closest to my mouth, therefore I hear it as well. And therefore I am grateful for the opportunities over the more than the 10 years, 12, 13 years now, that we have been doing this as well. So thank you to the Guru in each of you, every time. And the Gita, we were last time, I forgot my actual Gita, but my iPad has Gita. So we had talked about the threefold, the Gyan, Karta, like if you remember the Gyan, the Gyani, and the Gyata.